to the supporters of channel member LE. Well, we've spent the best part of £200 million over the summer. The media no longer think we're relegation fodder. We're in the Champions League again. Let's go and win the league. Hello and welcome to part 140 of Wembley to Wembley. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have the first two games of the new league season. We're at home against Chelsea, away against Leeds in the Premier League. Hopefully we win both games and set down a marker for the rest of the season. That's the plan. If you missed a transfer special yesterday, you missed me spend big. We did big spend big. We also sold a lot of the fringe players as well for a lot of money. So I think it was a very good transfer window all round and leaves us with an 11 today that looks like this. New goalkeeper, Mamadou Biaye in goal. I don't know how to say his name. A new look back four, Van Gessen, who was here last year, and Agume, our club captain, who was here last year, alongside our new record signing, Mamadou Mane, £49 million signing from relegated Sheffield Wednesday, and almost record signing, Ander Diaz, who we spent £39 million on to be our new, more defence-minded right back. I'm tempted to even drop him onto a defensive instruction, but I think fullback on support is probably fine for now. Fanimo and new boy Sabatino in midfield. Don't worry, Christodoulou, he's not finished. We're trying something. And then a very familiar looking front four, Renault, Lambert, Williams and Belkacemi up front. We have got new boys to throw into the front four. We just don't need to make all the changes all at the same time. Like I say, we're trying things. I don't know what my best 11 is at the moment. I don't even know if this is the best tactic. I suspect I'll find a way to squeeze Sabatino and Christodoulou into the midfield together. The only problem potentially with doing that is I then have to squeeze Fanimo back into the defence, and I've signed £100 million worth of centre-back this summer. So there's not really a gap for him back there anymore, but he is very good. Right, Diaz picked up a knock, but looks like he's recovered from it. In other news, Vaughan, who was pushed down the pecking order by Diaz arriving, has now trained himself to play left back. I mean, I've been training him to play there, but he can now play left back. So we do have him as another option to cover at left back, which means there's an argument for getting rid of Linares because he was here as our utility fullback. We've now got Diaz who can play fullback on both sides. Vaughan can play fullback on both sides. So there might be some more business done yet in terms of getting players out of the club, especially if it becomes clear I can't register them in my Champions League squad, which I really wish I could do a dummy Champions League registration. That needs to be in FM25, please. If that was the headline feature, I'd be quite pleased by it. We've not had a shot yet, which is weird considering the area of the team we've not changed is the attack. You'd think we'd, be able to attack. I wonder how much of it is the lack of Christodoulou. Maybe having him not there. I mean, he's been virtually ever present for 4 years, apart from all of his suspensions, but he's always in and around the place. And this is the first time he's ever been voluntarily left out of the team. And we've not created a single chance as a result. Dare we say as a result? Is it the more defence-minded fullback? Is that why we're not creating anything? It's difficult to say, but we are now 1-0 down against Chelsea and we've not shown any kind of ambition at all. So I'm going to tell them to attack. I'm going to demand more. And I think we probably need to take off the injured right back as well, which is not the ideal start for him. Ian Vaughan can come on and play there. And, we do that, I guess. Sabatino got an hour. And now Christodoulou's going to come on and see if he can change things. It's the quickest way to find out if that was what the problem was. If Christodoulou comes on and the problem goes away, then that was where the problem was caused by. And I think we've won a penalty here. No, we've won a corner. A corner's as good as a penalty when we've got Fanimo in the team. And to be fair, that's another reason not to take Fanimo out of the midfield because he's such a goal threat from these set pieces. I don't know why we've gone short, just as I'm selling our incredible corners. Right. Can we do a proper one this time? Belkacemi's going to go over and take it. He's going to hit the in-swing, and we know he can hit a good one. He's going to aim, I'd like to think, at Fanimo, although Mane is the man who's lurking. I mean, he's a big, strong boy as well, so maybe we've got a new near-post set-piece threat. Wouldn't that be a lovely old thing? We've still not had a shot on target. This is very worrying. Ansong is off at the Olympics, by the way, which is why he's not involved today. We'll bring on new boy Salaver to play in behind Belkacemi, to play in behind Williams. We've got to change something. The attack's not working. So So, I mean, we could potentially go to 2 strikers, but Salaver can play in behind, so we'll play him in behind. Agume has now got a tight thigh. I mean, we're not short of centre-backs. It's not really the attacking change I would be hoping to make when we're chasing a goal. I think we actually leave him on because we've got players who are tireder than he is, and I want to get Lorenzo Van Wyck on because he's an attacking change. We're going to go very attacking. As part of that, we're going to stick Salaver up front with Williams. And we're hopefully going to find an equaliser because this is not ideal. Right, it starts with Biaye at the back. Agume plays it forward to Vaughan, and now Rob Williams comes short, plays it forward to Paul Williams. Christodoulou to one of the Williamses again. And we might be creating something here. Cross into Salaver, nods it down to Van Wyck, and I mean, there was new boys combining there, but unfortunately they can't get the shot on target. We still haven't had a shot on target in this match. It's been such a low-scoring game. What a boring bunch of turds Chelsea are. Annoyingly, we had Newcastle's number last year, who was Vincent Kompany's previous team, but they've absolutely cancelled us out today, so he's obviously done his homework on how to counter Kev over the summer, and that's a very, very disappointing first day of the season for a man who was telling you he was going to win the league. I don't think that's the system, is it? Right, so we've tweaked a little bit for the Leeds game, changing the midfield around, getting Sabatino in his more natural deep-lying playmaker position. Christodoulou comes back in alongside him in his most natural ball-winning midfielder position, although obviously he picks up the odd yellow card doing this role, but that gets those two together in there. Fanimo drops down to the bench for now, but could potentially come in to replace Agume. We'll see. Agume's captain, so he keeps the spot for now. If the midfield works, then we'll worry about the defence. There's tweaks that need to happen early on in this season. The only other change is Ansong, back from the Olympics, comes back into the team as well. Hopefully, with the slightly rearranged midfield, we can create something today, because the most alarming thing about the Chelsea game, and Chelsea are one of the best teams in the league, but we didn't create anything at all, and that is alarming. We talked about the possibility of second season syndrome last year and avoided it, but now we've spent a load of money. We've got a load of big-time Charlies on big money, and we don't want third season syndrome, because that will financially cripple us with the amount of transfer debt we've taken on over the summer. So new ground or no new ground, we'd be in a bit of a problem. And the last thing I want to do as we reach the final couple of seasons of this save before FM25 arrives, theoretically, the last thing I want to do is leave Wembley in anything other than perfect position. I would love to leave this club as Premier League champions, Champions League contenders, new ground, financially secure, you know, the dream, and let Tom Best spend the next 30 years as manager just winning everything. That'd be beautiful. But if this season goes wrong, that whole plan kind of goes out the window. So let's make sure this season doesn't go wrong, eh? Simple. And Gesson had got himself really far forward and a little bit out of position there, gone very narrow, and missed his header. And now there's chaos at the back, and Gesson is actually the guy who comes back to cover. So he's got himself out of a pickle of his own creation, which I guess is good. We appreciate the fact that he's done that. And Biaye, the new goalkeeper, flapping at that one a little bit. How confident are we in him at the moment, boys and girls? Let me know in the comments. Do we like the new keeper, or do we want Beswick back in? After years of having a solid goalkeeper in Slocum, we've replaced him, and now we're back into new goalkeeper every season territory. We've probably had about 12 first-choice goalkeepers over the course of 20 years in this save. That feels like a lot. Although, is it a lot when you're moving up the leagues? And Belkacemi's in, and it's a calm-as-you-like finish to put us 1-0 up. It was absolute defensive chaos from Leeds. I don't know what they were thinking, the silly Bears. But we go 1-0 up. Lovely, lovely. I mean, look at it. And just so sloppy. Comfortable finish. Lovely stuff. So, more of that, please. Because even that's so... We've had one shot, and we didn't create it ourselves. I'm not quite sure what's going wrong creativity-wise for us at the moment. Ansong was our playmaker last year. We've changed him to an attacking midfielder to accommodate Sabatino as the playmaker. And at the moment, he's not really making play, but he is young inexperienced, and we're not going to worry too much about it because we've scored again. And it's Hugo Reno, who, of course, could still leave before transfer deadline day. He's got a release clause. He doesn't want to discuss a new contract, and there's several Saudi Arabian clubs interested in him. So if they dangle enough cash in front of him before the transfer window closes, he could well be on his way. So this isn't necessarily the settled squad for the season just yet. But goodness me, it's pretty blooming close. Ansong drops deep to try and get something moving from midfield. Releases Williams. Williams cutting inside, has got options ahead of him, decides to go it alone. Probably shouldn't be shooting from there. If he's going to go it alone, at least run it a little bit further. You don't need to be shooting. He's never going to score from there. But he's a silly goose. They're all silly geese. I mean, I was going to say at least nobody else really is getting 2 wins, but it's because most clubs haven't played 2 matches yet. Right, all eyes on Mane. One of the reasons I was comfortable bringing Christodoulou back in and taking Fanemo out is that Mane looked like he could be as much of a threat as Fanemo, and it looks like we're vindicated in that decision because his first proper in-swinging corner aimed at his head, and it's a thunderous header from him. Let's have a little look at his attributes for this. So he's only 6'2", but he's got 17 jumping reach, which means that is kind of irrelevant. 13 heading. If we compare him with Fanemo, just specifically on those attributes, so jumping reach is identical. Heading, Mane is actually 1 point better than Fanemo at heading. So theoretically, Mane is an even bigger threat than Fanemo would be, which means after 18 months of being a central midfielder, Fanemo now has to fight himself back into the back four that he was a staple part of before I started messing with him. He's probably not very happy about this because he was above Agume in the centre-back pecking order. And, yeah, I mean, he's going to be first reserve in midfield. It's a squad game. We've got 60 matches to play this year. Everyone's going to get football. It's fine. Maybe this year I finally learn to rotate. I do jokes sometimes, don't I? Right, Reno is injured, which might mean he has to stay at the club. Might be a blessing in disguise if he's out for a month or so from here. We've got a lot of tired legs, actually. Diaz, who, of course, picked up the knock in the last game. I think we're going to bring on Justin Rath to have a look at him. He's the other defender we signed from Sheffield Wednesday in the summer, so he can come on at right back. Paranos can come on for Williams. And where's Lambert? Why is Lambert not on the bench? I guess we bring Salaver on again behind Belkacemi. This should all be fine. It's a bit early for all those changes, but tired legs. What are you going to do? I think we've still got one more change that we can make, so we'll just save it a little bit later in the match. I mean, ultimately, we are 3-0 up away from home. We don't need to worry too much. Right, Christodoulou and Sabatino both tiring. So, obviously, Fanemo comes on in his capacity as first reserve. We switch these two back to the way they've played so well. He can become the playmaker, and we'll give him 10, 15 minutes of Fanemo and Christodoulou reminding me why we should be doing this because it worked so well last year. Salaver is going to take the free kick. No idea if he's got free kicks in his locker, but the keeper left him plenty of space to aim at, and he wasn't far away. Unfortunately, couldn't keep the shot down below the crossbar. But at 3-0, we're nice and comfortable. I think I'll drop a little bit of praise. This is much better than how we were against Chelsea. Obviously, Leeds are rubbish, so you got to take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt, but much better performance. Controlled possession, actually creating some chances today. We're moving in the right direction. We've got a lot of new players. We're trying to figure out how they fit together. Once we figure that out, I think we'll be good. And to prove it, in the next episode, I'll meet you in the Champions League and we'll test it out there. There you go. I think Renault stays for the season now, which is possibly the most ideal thing that could have happened, because once we get past the transfer window, he'll probably sign a new contract and we'll pretend he was never thinking of leaving, and it'll all be great. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.